G'day, ladies and gents, and welcome to the Australia Day special. Yes, that's right, we're going to have a look at an Australian plane. And this Australian plane is probably the most iconic Australian plane in War Thunder, the Boomerang Mark 1. The Boomerang Mark 1, for me, has been, one of those planes that I'm quite excited about every time I see one. It's just a beautiful plane for a start. I mean, most planes are quite beautiful, but this plane in particular is kind of like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's charming. It's got like a sort of small, fat chassis. It feels kind of like an iShack, but like a lot bigger and Australian. So, yeah, this particular plane is kind of special, and not just because it's Australian, but because of the story of how it got here. You see, in the 1940s, at the outbreak of the Second World War and the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, there was a lot of concern by the Australian government and the Australian people that we would be invaded by Japan, and they seemed to be working their way through the Pacific, coming out through to, Singapore, etc., and just slowly filtering down. Now, they did actually send some bombing runs, I believe, to Darwin, and they also put a U-boat or a submarine in Sydney Harbour, which sunk I'm not quite sure which ship it was, but it did damage a ship to the point where I think it needed to be scuttled. I'm not quite sure on that, but the Australians were extremely concerned about the defence of their homeland, and as a result, they basically grabbed this plane because it was close enough to what they had designed previously. They had the Wirraway, and it came from the Wirraway. They, made a few changes, and we have ourselves the Boomer. The Boomer himself. The best part about this plane for me, though, is where the cannons come from. The cannons were found, yes, I'm not kidding, they were found, and then they were reverse engineered into the Hispano 404s or the Hispano Mark 2s. I think they're Mark 2s, but I'm not quite sure. They could be Mark 1s. It doesn't really make a difference because they're still shit Spanos in War Thunder. But, in real life, obviously, there would be some sort of difference. However, the best bit is what the guy was using it for. He had found it, I believe, as a trophy, and he had taken it back and basically stripped most of the cannon and was using the barrel as an alcohol still. Fucking Australians, man. I love it. Regardless, today is the day that we celebrate our culture and our history, although it is a short history. Especially when you look at military conflicts, Australia is quite proud of what we've achieved on the world stage, particularly in things like East Timor with peacekeeping and stuff like that. Something that's very sort of proud and something that is held in high regard. Things like the Second World War, Gallipoli, and everything in between. As well as, let's not talk about the Great Emu War, please. No? Yes? No? Maybe? But jokes aside, the things that Australians have sacrificed in conflicts, which is, why we play this game, because of war. It's truly incredible, and it doesn't, shorten or diminish anyone else's contributions, because many nations have contributed a lot more in the number of lives, years, money, everything. And despite being, 100 and something years old, Australia is one of the world leaders, which makes me proud as well. We start off strong, and we just get stronger. It's one of those things that you just think about and you go, wow, we are actually, pushing forward in most respects. Others there could be an argument against, but I really don't want to fucking talk about politics here, because we're playing the Boomerang. The Boomerang, which is a little bit over-tiered, to be honest. It's one of those planes that has some incredible turn rate in certain situations, particularly when you use flaps. Using flaps in the Boomerang literally makes you turn better than a zero in some cases. However, you need to consider that flaps diminish your energy quite significantly, and seeing as though we're in a 4.3 battle, we're going to need as much energy as we can get. Fully up-tiered, Boomerang against BF-109 G2 Tropicals. It is very, very difficult, and it is extremely tough, because the G2 Tropical is, at the moment, arguably, well, it has been for forever, one of, if not the best 4.3 plane in the game. And the Boomerang is an over-tiered plane that doesn't see much action, so it doesn't get down-tiered because of Gaijin. It probably should go to 2.7 or 3.0 at the very least. So, we are actually in a decent situation here. You can see there's a BF-109 off to the right there, and then there's one very further just off the wingtip. So, what am I going to do? I'm going to see that dot there, and I'm going to try and help out my teammates. You see, if I can help out my teammates and take out things on the deck, then that gives my team a better fighting chance, because a Wolfpack is better than one or two scattered planes at altitude. BF-109F is going vertical straight for me, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop those flaps, and this is a textbook rope-a-dope. Have a look at that. BF-109F2, I'm going to get some beautiful... God fucking damn it, dude. BF-109F2 gets away unharmed because of shit spun. Oh boy, this is going to be a long battle. Not to worry though, because there's the BF-109 F4 who's deciding to be... F4? G2, my mistake. It's, yeah, very slow. Have a look at that. I'm able to keep with him quite well, despite playing it a little bit sloppy. And there we go, I managed to put a critical hit into him, and I think that might be some sort of coolant or oil or fuel. Doesn't matter. He's pretty badly damaged. And so the BF-109 F2 decides to go into a vertical with me. I'm going to take myself off the WEP so as not to burn out my engine, and this particular BF-109 gets, yeah, more hits. Oh boy, I'm going to continue. I'm going to keep at it, and I'm going to try and get this guy as he goes nice and slow, hammer the WEP for a bit, and oh my god. What is with Hispanos, man? They're so unreliable. They're either hit or complete miss. And I just wish they would be one or the other. It just... Oh, boy. Regardless, we have plenty of fun left in the Boomerang, because even though we're pretty low on cannon ammo, the enemy planes that are going to come out of the sky are... Oh my god, have a look at this. Going to put myself into a rolling scissor with the 202 EC, and because the 202 EC is all guns and no performance, well, join the club, Mr. 202. He can't quite sustain with me, and there is a 190 coming out behind it. Remember this 190 for a little bit later. I keep mixing them up because I haven't been drinking. No, I actually haven't, but regardless, C202 EC coming in for a little bit of fun, and the Hispanos, the last of the Hispanos, sets him on fire. Hispanos would be amazing if they were consistent, and that's all I want from Gaijin. Please, give me consistent Hispanos. Just like this 190A1 is consistently annoying me. But regardless, he's going to keep with a lot of energy. The 190A1 has a lot of energy. In fact, a ridiculous amount of energy. And so he's basically able to stay above me and keep that energy on me at all times. And this is the most important part of the Boomerang. It's not able to maintain its energy advantage because it doesn't have good energy retention. It's got a very underpowered engine. If it had, I don't know, maybe something a bit better. I'm not quite sure what else you could possibly fit. Give it a double wasp, for God's sake. Let's go. This particular dogfight, I think, perfectly demonstrates the capabilities of the Boomerang. It just does not hold energy, and that is its main weakness. That's fine against the Zero, because the Zero also doesn't hold energy as well as the 190 or as well as the BF-109. But against your constant opponents, the BF-109 and the Focke-Wulf 190, you're not going to have a good time. It's going to be a struggle, and I wholeheartedly mean that. It is going to be difficult against 109s and 190s, especially when you're fully up tiered. The 190A1 is at battle rating 3.3. The Boomerang is at battle rating 3.3. Have a look at how quickly the Boomerang is being lost by that 190. I can't keep up. I don't have the energy. This guy, all he needs to do is keep energy on me. And he has better, if not, he's got better guns. Because whilst he has about the same ammunition of 20mm, he's got them all in the nose, or in the wing roots. And he also has better 20mm. Instead of having to watch my convergence in a Boomerang, if I'm in a 190, I don't really have to concern myself with that sort of stuff. Not only that, but I have the performance, I have the speed and the energy retention. And this 190 is going to take that all the way to his airfield. Yep, told you to remember him for later, but we'll get to that when we cross it. The Bf 110 here is probably going to end up mincemeat because it's got two guys with 50 cals behind them. So I'm going to try and come and kill him, but it's too late. There's no point. So fast forward about 5 minutes. Yep, 5 minutes. And we're out over the enemy airfield. Because someone wants to camp the enemy airfield. I've been through this discussion before and I think it's quite interesting. But what should we do about planes that are airfield campers? And I think this particular match is another perfect example to show you exactly what I mean. And exactly what I'm concerned about. You see, this AA is starting to set off. It's starting to set off and it's not quite hitting me. However, I think we could find a way to benefit both parties. That is, those who want to just get the match over and done with and kill the last guy who's cowering behind his AA. And at the same time, give the people that actually want a chance to fight to do so. So, what we are going to do is think of a situation that benefits both. And this is what I've come up with after several hours of thinking about this over the last few years. What needs to happen is, say you're the 190 and you're heading back to land, rearm, and repair. The moment you get within a 5 kilometer radius of that airfield, or a 3 kilometer radius, the airfield AA will kick in. It will be deadly. As in, you sit within that for more than 5 seconds as an opponent and you are dead. No questions asked. It is laser accurate and there is no two ways about it. However, after 3 minutes, it switches off. There is no more protection from that AA, which means that you cannot cower behind it, no matter how much you try. And it will not switch on until you leave the zone and 20 seconds later, come back. I think that's the best solution, because that way you get the best of both worlds. You get people who want to use the base, use the airfield to rearm and repair, and then you also get the people who want to kill those campers, who want to kill those people that just keep running and that just keep putting a dampener on your War Thunder experience. And so, I think this is the best middle ground solution, which is something that I always try and strive to do. Not only that, but I'd like to put this to you guys. Let me know in the comment section, because this stuff is extremely important. If it's something that you think might be worth pursuing, then let me know. And maybe I'll make another dedicated video on it. Maybe I will put something in the forums. Maybe I'll talk to someone at Gaijin if I have someone that I can. Regardless, this is where the 190 sort of loses a little bit. It gets a little bit aggressive, and this particular guy is like one of those prop guys that sits in props all day and just plays props and racks up 10 KDs, as in like a 10 to 1 KD in low tier props, because why not? And that's how he does it, by camping his airfield. So you know what? That guy can go and, I don't know, hold J for 3 seconds IRL. Maybe not IRL, but you get the joke. Regardless, that is the fourth and final kill of the match, and it perfectly demonstrates to me why I think the Boomerang is a little bit over-tiered, but it also demonstrates why the Boomerang can be quite fun. It's sort of in between, but I do think it should get a little bit of a BR reduction. However, if you guys don't like the boomerang, you don't have to play it, obviously. But if you do like the boomerang, I would, I don't know, if you're Australian, I'd pick it up for sure. But anyway, ladies and gents, have a good Australia Day. Take care, and I'll catch you next time.